Hello students. So yesterday you have taken your revision test on the chapter The Owls in the Family, and in today's class you shall be having the revision of my books and Circus Elephant, and at the same time we shall be having another revision test on these two chapters. Now the thing is that as I have already said in your previous video, that you can always go back to the discussion which were made or the videos which were there during the first when I explained these two poems. And now the thing is that in today's video we shall have a very quick revision. In today's class we shall have a very quick revision of these two chapters. Now first thing is that when we go to read my books, this chapter, the first thing that came as I explained in your in the board, I explained it, the simile and metaphor. These are the figure of speeches which you need when you are going to read any poem or any literary work, any work of English literature. Now here what happens, simile and metaphor. Simile is a direct comparison where something is directly compared to some other thing. So here you will be finding the explicit use of as and like. So we shall be seeing in simile that as and like, these are the two words which are being used, and there we will find the point of comparison between them that will be very much mentioned in the sentence. But when it comes about metaphor, we will be finding that we will have to assume, or we will have to understand the point of comparison, which will be a hidden comparison or an indirect comparison, where the comparison will not be directly mentioned. You will have to understand it. So this is also there. Now as I gave you the example, which will be the easiest one in order to understand this simile metaphor, will be he is as cunning as fox. When we will be saying he is as cunning as fox, here the cunningness of fox is being compared, or his cunningness is being compared to that cunningness of the fox. So here you can also see that the point of comparison is also mentioned. But when comes the metaphor, there you will be finding, we will be saying that he is a fox. So here you will find that there is no point of comparison is not mentioned here. So you will have to understand it, always you will have to assume it, always you will have to find it out, which will be an indirect one or a hidden one. So that is metaphor. So these two things you need in this chapter when you are going to read my books. Now my books is a poem where the poet, who is an anonymous one, that means whose name is not mentioned, and don't confuse yourself with the name of Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is not the poet of this poem. Only some important writings, or you could say some important lines from his writing has been mentioned here. So what is that? A book is a friend. Dr. Seuss, a very well-known writer of children's literature, has said, the more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you will go. So these two lines are written by Dr. Seuss, but Dr. Seuss is not the poet of this poem, my book. And who is the poet of this poem? That is unknown, that is not mentioned in this book or anywhere. So we will be saying that it has been written by someone whose name is not mentioned, or who is an anonymous poet. Okay. Now coming to the text of the story, you find, the text of this poem, you will find that it starts in this way. I love my books. They are the homes of queens and fairies. So the poet is saying that, or the speaker of this poem is saying that he or she loves books very much, and these books are the homes of queens and fairies and knights and gnomes. Now here comes, let me first tell you that queens, meaning fairies are, you have read the fairy tales, who can fulfill your wishes and who can fly from one place to another place like the angels. And these are very colorful stories of wish fulfillment, where we can find that whatever people want, all those things will be given to them. So in fairy tales, or there are the prince, the princess, all those characters are there. Very magnificent characters are there in a fairy tale. Now when it comes of knights, they are the medieval warriors, or you can say during the medieval time, the soldiers who rode, means who used to ride on the horses and fought the battles a long time ago, we call them knights. So they are the warriors, basically the medieval warriors or the soldiers. So these soldiers used to ride on the horses and fight back, or you can say they used to fight the battles a long time ago. So this one, they are the persons who are called knights. And then comes gnomes. Gnomes are those tiny men, or the tiny creatures, very ugly looking. I have shown you the picture in that previous, the first one when I explained this poem. So you go and search and see the picture. Also the picture I think is given in your book in page number 28, yeah. It's not ugly looking though. Sometimes you can confuse him with Santa Claus, but he is a different one. And here, if you see, the gnomes are different ones. They are the tiny creatures, or the tiny men, who are believed to be the guardian, or who are believed to be the person who guard you can see the underground treasures. Treasures means the wealth which are there in the underground. So they are called gnomes. So why these characters are mentioned? Because they are very interesting characters. If you think of your liking the books or the characters that you like as a child, so these are the characters, the knights, where you will be finding that the knights are the medieval heroes. They are kind of very nice looking, charming personalities, and they will be like the valiant or the brave, the courageous heroes are there. And if you read the fairy tales, you will be finding that magic wand, and also there will be the prince and the princess, there will be a giant. So all these things are there, where these stories are, you all will be very much fond of these kind of characters, and gnomes also is a character like that. Now why the speaker is saying that these characters, or the book is like a home for these characters? Now here comes the metaphor. Because in direct comparison, home is a place where we all live. Home is a place where at the end of the day, wherever we go, we come back to our home and we stay there. So this is a kind of a living place for us. So the same way, these characters, queens, fairies, knights and gnomes, these are the characters who will be they reside, or you can say they will be living in these in the pages of a book. That means when their stories are written in a book, it is as if they become lively, and they one can feel the presence of them in the pages of the book. So it is as if the book is a kind of a home for them, and they all live in that home. Okay, so the indirect comparison, home is a living place, and here book is also a place for these person or for these characters where they can live. So that is why this book is called, or the pages of the book are called the homes for these queens, fairies, knights and gnomes. Okay. Next one, stanza. Each time I read, I make a call. So here it's not like making a phone call or something else. So when we say I make a call, that means I just make a connection with them. I get engaged with them. I get engrossed in reading about those characters. So and what I do on some quaint person. Quaint means strange. The strange persons. Now, strange persons are the strange characters. When you are reading a book, you find some interesting characters. These characters are having some strange qualities. So, these are being called the quaint person. Large and or small. So, these can be if you read Gulliver's Travel. So, these kind of books, there you will find the Lilliputians. So you will be finding there that they are the tiny creatures. These, if you read a giant story, so what you will find that there is a giant who is much taller than human beings. Even they are taller than the height of a mountain. So these you can find if you when you are reading, you can kind of unfold all these mysteries. You can experience all these kind of adventurous situation. So when you do this, what you will see that when you are reading a book, you can make a connection. You can get acquainted or you can get introduced to these kind of strange and rare characters. Who welcomes me, and these characters will be welcoming the reader, or here the speaker is saying, and they welcome me with hearty hand. Hearty hand here means with a hand which is kind of very much in a warm-hearted way, or you can say when you are welcoming them, or when you are with your hand you are showing them, or you are showing kind of a welcoming gesture to them. So what happens to them is that they also feel that the heartiness when a guest comes to your home. I have given this example in your previous the first video, which in the first class when I explained this poem. So there you can find, I give this example, when a guest comes to your home, if you talk to him, suppose your brother or your cousin, sister, or any person, any little boy or little girl, they have come to your home. If you talk to him or her in a very friendly manner, so that person can think that you are very much happy that he or she has come to your home. If you don't talk to him or her, if you don't go to that boy or girl, so what will he or she feel? That you are not happy that he or she has come to your home. So that heartiness comes from within. That when you are happy with when somebody comes to your home, or when you are in company with someone, so that happiness when you show, so that heartiness also is felt there. So when hearty hand means in a very warm-heartedly, with a welcoming heart, and leads me through his wonderland. And not only these rare character or the strange characters, maybe the short or the tall creatures, or the characters large or small, so they not only welcome me, rather they lead me, or they take me, or they accompany me to his wonderland. The wonderland means the place where this character, or to which this character or these characters belong to, the places to which these characters belong to. So that means where their homeland was. So their homeland, obviously, if a person is a kind of a peculiar kind of a person, having much taller than usual, or you can say much tinier than usual, obviously their living place also will also be shrouded with mystery. So the same thing happens here when you will see that the speaker is saying that this is a kind of a place where somebody can go, and these characters, these strange characters. They will be welcoming you with a warm heart, and also they will take you, or they will accompany you in your journey to their wonderland. That means to their land, where by journeying where, or by traveling to which land, you will be surprised. Now the third stanza of this poem. Each book is like a city street. So what now comes is a simile. Each book is like a city street. So here you can find that the comparison is a direct comparison, and here we can find that the comparison is being made about each book is like a city street. So if you go to a city street, you can find that here it's a kind of a zigzag way. It goes in a zigzag way. So from here one branch has gone to one place, and from here another narrow street has gone to one place. So this way it has got, you can say it has got divided. It has got you can say it has got classified or divided from a particular place, and it has gone to different sort of places. So the same thing happens here when you are reading a book. It is as if the book is also, the page is also in a very zigzag way. It has gone to different places. So one particular narrow street can lead someone to a different place, and another beside that, another narrow street can lead someone to a separate place. Now why this has been given here, and what happens when you travel? Suppose there are 3-4 ways which have got separated from a, or which are created from a same particular point. Suppose this is a street, and this way one street has gone, this way one street has gone, straight one street has gone. So what happens when you travel in each ways, or any particular way you choose, what happens there, that you meet different kind of people. You meet always here and there, you can meet different sorts of people. So this happens. Then along whose winding way I meet, whom do the speaker meet? New friends and old, who love and sing and take me off adventuring. So friends here means those characters with whom he or she can relate, with whom he or she can be very much comfortable, and there starts that she becomes friend with them, and with them she can love, or she can sing, or these characters not only do this, rather these characters can take this speaker for an adventure. You can say for an adventure. That means they accompany this speaker for an adventure, or in an adventure the speaker is accompanied by these strange characters, who gradually, when she is reading this story and she is getting more and more acquainted with that particular character, what happens, she can establish a relationship of friendship with them. With them she can love by reading something funny about them, and seeing, and then these characters, unknowingly the speaker is taken away, and she is taken to a wonderland, or to a land of adventure. And who accompanies these characters? They accompany her in that journey. So this is the one which is there. So you just try to answer the questions which are there in the revision test from this chapter. Okay. Now coming to the next chapter, which is the circus elephant. Now circus elephant, as recently we have completed. So here you have seen that the questions which are there, the name of the poet is Catherine Worth. Catherine Worth, she has few questions in her mind, See, as I have already said, that the main idea of this poem is that we shouldn't disturb, or we shouldn't try to spoil the natural habitat or the natural living place of the wild animals, because we know the wild animals, they are much beautiful when they are in the lap of the forest or in the jungle. So what happens here, when we see this poem, we can find that few questions are there in the mind of the poet, and she is repeatedly trying to find out the answer. But she is not questioning the elephant. She is not asking these questions to the elephant. These questions are there, which are moving in her head, and she is constantly forming questions, and also she herself only is trying to get the answer. So first, what in the first stanza, what she is saying: does the elephant remember in the grey light before dawn, when the morning appeared, when the sun is just to rise in the eastern sky? So before that moment, when the elephant used to be in the jungle, it has been a long days that the elephant has come to our circus company. But when it used to be in the jungle, when it was in the with the company of the wild animals, so when it was there, whether it has still remembered those long gone mornings. Long gone means it has gone, the mornings, these are gone many days ago. That means seems a long time that the elephant is now taken away from the jungle, and it is there with the circus, with the organization who will be arranging the circus. They will be giving the elephant the necessary training, and they will be earning money by letting it do something, or by forcing it to do something on behalf of them. Does the elephant remember the cry of the hungry beast? This question again comes to the mind of the poet, that whether the elephant has still remembered the cry of the hungry beast. Which are the hungry beasts here? The tiger, the leopard, the lion at their feast. Feast is a grand meal, you know, I said in your previous life class. So feast is a grand meal when these animals, these leopard, this lion and this tiger, they will be having a grand meal. That scenario, that landscape, or that scene, you can say. So whether the elephant can still visualize that particular scenario or not. So this is the question which is there in the mind of the poet. Do his mighty eardrums listen for the thunder of the feet of the buffalo and zebra? So this one, again the question comes, that whether it has remembered the mighty eardrums. I have said mighty means strong, and eardrums, the place or the entrance in the ear of yours, through which the sound enters into your brain or into the system of some human body. Now what happens, you can get this clarified in your other classes, when you will be going to the higher classes, that when you will be reading the parts of the ears and everything, that time you can know what is the eardrums and these layers and membrane and all these things are there. So what basically we need here, that we can see, if we look at an elephant, we can see that it is a very large animal, and also its ears are very large. So maybe the poet has not taken it in the literal sense. She has tried to use it in that way, that it is having since it is having very large ears, so it will have the capability to listen to much more sounds. Okay, for the thunder of the feet of buffalo and zebra. So when buffalo and zebra, they will be walking, they will be moving here and there in the jungle. So what will happen? when they are moving, from their footsteps there a sound is produced. So the poet is questioning whether the elephant still has listened to that sound or not. It means the mighty eardrums that you are having. Not you means she is not questioning to the elephant, but she is thinking like, since the elephant is having so much large ears, so whether it had listened to all these sounds or not. So that is the question. In the dark and dreadful heat, I have said that this is alliteration. What is alliteration? When the words start with the same sound and are used close together. So the same beginning letter, and at the same time there will be the same sound pattern, and these words will be in a close proximity, or they will be used close together in a sentence, are called alliteration. So here you can find that dreadful and dark. Dark and dreadful, this is alliteration. Both of them are getting started with the beginning letter D. So dark I have said because since it is a dense forest, all the trees are there in a very thick way. So it's very obvious that sunlight would not be able to enter into that particular place. So that is why it has been said dark. And dreadful means terrible, something which is very much adverse. Does His Majesty remember His Majesty to the king? She is trying to say or trying to give the kind of an addressal, kind of that kind of a respect to these elephants, that His Majesty remember does steer himself and dream when she is in deep sleep, when she is sleeping, whether she at any moment when she is turning this side and that side unconsciously out of means you can say out of a sound sleep that she is having. So at that moment whether she can dream of what? She can dream of the long forgotten music. That means it had listened to that music long ago. And remember, this is not a kind of a music which is created with all sort of instruments and somebody is coming to sing a song. It's not like that. So what happens here is that when when the poet is saying that long forgotten music, that means a long ago it used to listen to that music of a long forgotten stream. And what is the music? The music is not of any band that will be played, or it's not like Arijit Singh is coming and will be singing a song. It's not like that. So what will happen here? The sound which is produced when the water is flowing, and when, as you know, when the water falls from the higher to a lower place, the sound which is produced, so or kind of when the water is flowing. When you go to the sea, you can hear the roar of the water. So this kind of, but stream, it will be much more, you can say, not that much vibrant. It will be having a very soft and mild sound. So the poet is questioning that whether the elephant still remembers the sound, or the poet is saying that is not the ordinary sound, rather we can say that is a music of the stream. So when the elephant is in deep sleep, whether it can recall or it can dream of the music of the water, the music of the flow of water, whether it can remember or not. So that is the question. So these are there, and we have, as you know, we have done many exercises on alliteration, but remember those will not be coming. I can only give one particular sentence and I can ask you that what figure of speech has been used here. Figure of speech means together we call them figure of speech. Simile, metaphor, alliteration, we call them figure of speeches. So you will have to find out the three. You should have a very clear idea about these three: simile, metaphor and alliteration. Okay, so with this we end today's class. You go to the worksheet section and take the revision test. You will be finding that some questions are given where you really need to understand this chapter, all these two chapters. So you will have to understand all these things so that you can yourself you can explain. So that is the first thing that I want. So if you can't explain of yourself, if you only go through the chapters and if you only learn the meanings, that will not help, because from any particular part a question may be given and you can be asked that can it can be tested whether you can explain it or not. So with that we end today's class. Hope you will be taking your I'm sure you will be taking your revision test, and there also again the answers are said. Once you click on the submit button, you can view your score and also you can view the correct answers. Okay, so that's all. Have a very nice day. Thank you.